What's going on, everyone? It's Ben from YGO from Zero, back with another Yugi-Kaiba format video. And I know after my last video, if you watched the whole thing, which was very long, so I don't blame you if you didn't. But if you watched the whole thing, you might have expected maybe that I would be showing off a Fiend Equip sort of strategy in this video, because I did say that I would cover Fiend Equip at some point, but I decided to mix it up. I will still cover Fiend Equip at some point, but I've been covering Tribal for the last couple videos, so I wanted to show off a different sort of jank strategy. And this is a very different sort of jank strategy. This is Exodia. So Exodia is another one of those sort of stally decks, just like Stall Mill, in that it doesn't aim on depleting your opponent's life points. It really aims to just stall long enough, stay alive long enough to fill its win condition, which is to draw all 5 pieces of Exodia. So the head of Exodia, the arms and the legs. If you have all 5 pieces in hand, then you automatically win the game. Exodia does have a lot of similarities to Stall Mill, which I'll discuss just in the deck breakdown, but it also has some key differences that makes it a bit less consistent, and so that's why it's a bit more jank. I do think the Stall Mill is just the superior stall deck, but Exodia can, be very fun when you pull off getting all 5 pieces in hand. It's a very anime moment, so this could be a very fun deck to play. Before I move on to the deck breakdown itself, I want to thank everyone for watching the Umi mirror match video. That video is up to almost 900 views, which it's always crazy when one of my videos sort of blows up like that. So I wanted to thank you all for watching that, and also if you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe. It's the sort of stereotypical YouTuber spiel, but it would really mean a lot to me. Anyways, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's dive in to this deck breakdown. So, of course, we're playing all 5 pieces of Exodia. That's our win condition. And in order to enable us to actually buy the time to get to that win condition, we are playing every 2k wall in the format. That is level 4 or lower. So we've got Giant Soldier Stone, Aquamador, Mystical Elf, Spirit of the Harp. We also have 3 Wall of Illusions, which can be great as acting as another wall, and also potentially bouncing back your opponent's tribute monsters to hand to prevent them from sticking around on the field. We also have 3 Maneater Bug to act as removal, great way to deal with their tribute monsters as well. And that's it for the monsters. You may be wondering why we're not fitting in like a Megami Soul Control package, just like the Stall Mill deck had. And frankly, the reason for that is just we can't fit it. Exodia decks, you want to be at 40 cards exactly to just increase the consistency with which you can draw all 5 pieces over the course of the game. And adding something like the Megami Soul Control package just, makes the deck too inconsistent. And the deck is already inconsistent enough, so, we can't really afford to include that. For the spells, we are on Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, Pot of Greed, and Raigeki of the limited spell cards. Since we're not playing the Megami Soul Control engine, we don't have a Change of Heart in the main deck. Sure, it can be used to deal with your opponent's Maneater bugs, but it just doesn't do enough in general to justify an inclusion in the main deck where space is already incredibly tight. So we do have it in the side deck for the side deck smokescreen that I'll discuss after covering the main deck, but it just didn't make the cut in the main deck. We also have 3 Fisher. This is great as acting as even more removal for your opponent's monsters. We have 3 Swords Revealing Light, a classic stall card, buys you 3 more turns. We have 3 Trap Hole to act as removal on our opponent's turn. We have 3 Waboku to protect our life points and our monsters. And we have 2 Ultimate Offering. Ultimate Offering is an integral part to pretty much any stall deck. It lets you bring out monsters during your opponent's battle phase in a way that can dodge their removal spells. So it's a very, very vital last line of defense. And that's why the Stall Mill deck generally plays this at 3 copies. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, this deck is very tight on space. So we have decided to go to 2 copies instead of 3. This makes it less likely that you're going to draw this card. But with 2, it's not impossible that you'll draw it. And at least this way you're bricking less on multiple copies of Ultimate Offering. And as you'll see, maybe not in this video, but in future videos, this deck does have a problem with bricks because the Exodia pieces, they are your win condition, but they don't really do anything in your hand when you draw them. So we have cut this down to 2. If you wanted to go for a 3rd copy, you could definitely cut one of the 2K Defenders, or even maybe cut a Monster Reborn, because Reborn doesn't really do as much in the main deck. I chose to just reduce it to 2 copies, as these defenders can be very good at stalling your opponent just on their own. And also, we want Reborn in the main because it can revive a defender, and also it's good for our side deck strategy. So that's why I've opted to construct the deck this way. There's definitely flexibility here. There are different ways that you can build this deck depending on what you want to prioritize and how, bricky you're willing to go. But this is what I settled on, and I've been happy with this version of the deck. For the side deck, we have a smokescreen side into a sort of worm control deck. Now, if you didn't see my past videos on worm control, I do think worm control is a pretty good deck in the format, and it's especially good against soul control decks. Now, the main thing that most players side into after seeing that you're on a stall sort of deck is a soul control build. So this could potentially catch them off guard, and you could potentially just win the game off the back of a Wicked Worm Beast when your opponent has just a bunch of tribute monsters and soul exchanges in hand. Now, you may wonder why we're not going into a soul control side deck, and frankly, we just don't have the space. Stall Milk can afford to go into that if it's playing soul controls and Megamis in the main deck. Unfortunately, here, we're not playing that package because we can't fit it, and there's just not enough side deck space to fit something like that in. Sure, you can make some cuts to, like, some Neos potentially, or some reinforcements, or something like that, but we've just decided to go the simpler route and play a sort of worm control deck after siding. So to that end, we have 2 Wicked Worm Beasts. The worm control deck generally plays 3. We don't have the space for that, and 2 is good enough. We also have 3 Lodgin, 3 Battleox, 3 Neo, the premier beaters in the format. We have 3 reinforcements to go with our more aggressive strategy here, and we also have a Change of Heart. Now, we're not playing a tribute monster, so we can't really use this as removal unless we Change of Heart an opponent's set Maneater Bug. But Change of Heart is very good at potentially taking our opponent's flip monsters, not just Maneater Bug, but also potentially Trap Master, which the opponent can definitely side in after seeing that we're on an Ultimate Offering package. It can also be good at just putting a bunch of offensive pressure on field, just taking the opponent's monster, clearing the way for all your monsters to attack in. So I do think Change of Heart is a good enough inclusion, even if we're not playing a tribute monster, to turn it into removal. And that is my version of the Exodia deck. There are definitely other builds and other directions you can go with this strategy. I've seen actually an incredibly cool build of this deck that basically uses Last Will and Hain to turbo out pieces of Exodia onto the field, and then flip Hain to bounce them back to hand. I think that's a really cool way to go with the deck, although I do think it's slightly less consistent than this build here. So there are different directions you can go with this deck if you so choose. This is just the more straightforward version of the deck, so it's what I'm going to be showing off. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's dive into the duels. Okay, we've got a game against Ellie Tin Can here. They've shown up a lot on the channel, great duelist in the format. This should hopefully be a good one. Let's see how it goes. looks like we won the rock, paper, scissors, and we do want to go first here. You know, going first is one more draw deeper into getting Exodia, so we do want to do that. And this is a pretty good hand. You know, we have a defender, we have a Bogu, we have Surge of Revealing Light if things go wrong, and we do have one piece of Exodia already. So this is not bad. We're just going to start out setting 3, passing back to our opponent. And they're just going to set 3 of their own, which is a very good sign. It means that they might not have offensive pressure. It could also be a very bad sign if it means that they're on Exodia as well, because Exodia mirror matches are basically like, who can get luckier, right? Who can draw into Exodia first? So they can be a bit rough to play, but hopefully they're just getting unlucky with their offensive pressure and not just playing an Exodia deck. We draw a second piece, and normally that would be bad, but we've got a pretty stable game state here, so we're okay with it. We're just going to set 1, pass back to them. They're going to pass back to us. Ultimate Offering is a great draw here. It means that if they manage to clear the Mystical Elf, we can always bring out a Man-Eater Bug to follow it up with. So we'll just set the Ultimate Offering. They're going to set 1, pass back to us. Trap Hole is also good, but we've got a full back row, so, you know, it's debatable whether we want to set it or not, and we won't to clear up that last spot. I think this is fine because we do have Dark Hole to clear the board, and Woboku potentially as well. So we can set it after we have done a major board clear with Dark Hole or something like that. So I think this is fine. They're just going to pass back to us. We draw a third piece, so normally this would be really bad if they'd been clearing our monsters, but given that they haven't been able to get through our monster, if they are on a more aggressive strategy, we're in a very good spot now. We only need 2 more pieces and then we'll win the game. They're going to draw, they're going to pass, and we draw a 4th piece, so we're feeling very good about that because we just need 1 piece left. They're going to summon out Battleox, revealing that they're probably not an Exodia strategy, which makes us feel extremely good because we've still got a lot of tools to protect ourselves here. They're going to reinforcements over the Mystical Elf, pass back to us. We're just going to Dark Hole, you know. We've got a Trap Hole to back that up with to clear whatever else they might bring out. We've got Ultimate Offering plus the Man-Eater Bug in hand in case they have like a Monster Reborn or something. We're feeling very good. They're going to bring out a Giant Soldier, and we could have Trap Holed that, or we could have like Ultimate Offeringed and brought out the Man-Eater. Frankly, we don't feel the need to. It's just 1,300. They're going to pass back to us. We draw another Defender, so we'll just set it. We've got 7 cards in hand, so we do need to get one of them out of our hand. So they're going to attack in. It's a Giant Soldier. They'll not be able to get over it. They're going to set 1, pass back to us. It's very likely that's a Man-Eater Bug, but we've got 7 cards in hand anyways, so we might as well set a monster. It is a Man-Eater Bug, so they will pop that, summon out, summon Skull, and that is prime Trap Hole material, so we will just Trap Hole it. And they'll switch the Giant Soldier defense. And we have it. We drew the last piece of Exodia. So that will be the end of game 1. And, you know, that was kind of a weird one. Our opponent was on a more aggressive strategy, but seemed not to be able to draw into their beaters. But that happens occasionally. You know, this deck can take games off of that. Also, a lot of the time, if your opponent doesn't quite know what you're on, they might not be as aggressive as they otherwise would be, and they might bide their time, not realizing that you're on the Exodia strategy, which can give you more time to draw into your pieces. So game 1 in Exodia is, you know, pretty in your favor. Not completely, because Exodia does have its issues, but, you know, if you can catch your opponent by surprise, then you could just win a game off of them playing conservatively. Now, I don't know if that's what happened here, but it is something that can happen. So for game 2, we've sided in to our worm control package here. So let's see how that works out for us. Okay, our opening hand is not bad. 2 Lodgins is very nice. We have Pot of Greed to draw more. We're feeling pretty good about this. They're just going to summon out Lodgin and pass. We're going to Pot of Greed, and these are some very good draws. We don't have like a Fisher or anything to deal with their Lodgin right now, but we can just crash one of our own Lodgins because we've got 2 more in hand. We also have a Trap Hole to deal with whatever else they bring out, and reinforcements to back up our Lodgins when we bring them out later. So we're feeling very good about this. They're going to bring out a Battle Ox, attack in. We're not going to Trap Hole it because we can just clear it with a Lodgin. They're going to set 1 pass back to us. We could also summon out the Neo and clear it that way, but we are just going to go for the Lodgin. And they will Trap Hole, unfortunately. We're going to Swords here because we're poised to take a lot of damage, and we don't necessarily want to use like our Trap Hole if they just bring out another 1700 beater that we can clear with Lodgin. So we're going to Swords. They're just going to set 1 pass back to us. Manier Bug is a pretty good draw here. We're going to try bring out the Lodgin and attacking in, and they'll take it. So we're feeling pretty good about that. They're just going to set 1 pass back to us. We're going to bring out Neo, and we're just going to try and get in for some damage. If it's a defender, we've got reinforcements to clear it. If it's Man-Eater Bug, you know, they'll be able to clear one of our monsters, but at least we'll still have a monster on field. They're going to bring out a Battle Ox and Fisher away our Lodgin. And, oh, we miscount on Swords here. So, you know, Swords is gone. We missed a turn. And we're just going to set a Man-Eater. We could have summoned the Neo and tried to clear the Battle Ox that way. But, you know, this is a bit safer. And they're going to attack him with the Battle Ox. We'll pop their Battle Ox with our Man-Eater. And then we have a Neo to follow it up with if we so choose. And we drew another 1700 beater. So we're really not concerned about running out one of them and attacking into their set. So that's what we'll do. And we'll get over it with the reinforcements. Pass back to them. They'll pass back to us. Reborn is okay, but we don't have to use it yet. We'll attack in, pass back to them. I think I made a mistake here. I think I should have set the Reborn because card destruction is a very good thing to side into an Exodia match. So if our opponent card destructioned our hand, we'd lose a very powerful spell here. So I think I should have just set it, but I didn't. I wasn't thinking about that. So they're just going to bring out Lodgin. We will Trap Hole that. And we draw Wicked Worm Beast, which is great. This means that we don't have to commit too much to board. And also we can have their life points this turn. So we're just going to attack in with everything. And that will connect. We're just going to set the Reborn, pass back to them. They're going to Dark Hole our board, which is a very good sign for us. And then they're just going to set 1 and pass. And now we can feel... Oh, okay, I guess we're bringing out the Battle Ox. I think that maybe we should have just brought out the Wicked Worm Beast repeatedly. I guess we have a Man-Eater Bug to deal with whatever tributes they may have. And we don't really have any way to play defensively here. Oh, actually, we have the Waboku, so... I don't know. I think we should have just summoned out Worm Beast and attacked in, but... I guess maybe we were playing around Trap Hole, so... If we were, kudos to us, I guess. We're just going to set the Waboku, pass back to them. They're going to Reborn back their Lodgin and attack in. So we'll take 18 there, pass back to us. And we're just going to set the Man-Eater because we can clear that Lodgin. We can get in with the Wicked Worm Beast. They're going to Raigeki our Man-Eater, which is unfortunate for us. We really needed that removal effect here, but what can you do? At least we have a defender in hand to protect ourselves from the Lodgin if worst comes to worst. And we have a Fisher, so actually we can just clear their Lodgin, attack him with Wicked Worm Beast. And it is debatable whether to do that because we are at such low life points, and that will leave our life points open to attack, but we are just going to go for it. So we'll bring out Wicked Worm Beast and then activate Fisher, clear their Lodgin, attack in for 14, and we'll pass back to them. Let's see if they're able to capitalize on this, and it seems like they are not. So we're able to bring out Wicked Worm Beast again and attack in for game with reinforcements. Let's see if they actually had soul control stuff in hand, because I think that would be... Okay, yeah, they did. So they had Change of Heart, Soul Exchange, and a Tribute Monster in hand. So the Wicked Worm Beast actually did come in very clutch here, as if we had just like brought out Giant Soldier of Stone or another monster that would remain on the field, they could take it, tribute it off for a Judge Man, and then we'd be in tough shape. So, you know, the worm control strategy, even though we didn't draw the other pieces of it, like Ultimate Offering or Wall of Illusion, it did come in pretty clutch here. But anyways, that's the first video covering Exodia. I'm planning on making a lot more in the future because this deck is by no means perfect. It has some major flaws that I'll hope to show off in other videos, but I wanted to show off a match where everything went right for it and show that, like, you know, it is jank. I think that Stall Mill is strictly better than it, but it can actually win games, and that's very fun to say because Exodia is just like a fun win condition. Even if like the play style to get to that win condition is stall, which is not everyone's cup of tea, I do think that this deck is very fun and can actually win a fair amount of games. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed as always. Until next time, I've been Ben from YGO from Zero, and I'm signing off.